This episode is called Black Girl, White Work. Why? Because going to a college preparatory school and a pseudo Ivy League, I was afforded the privilege to work in spaces that most of my peers at home couldn't. Spaces where the other black people around me were just emptying out my trash can, and I had to be cognizant of seeing them. And I felt like, a lot of people don't. And I feel like a lot of people don't see me. I've had a lot of different experiences working, like most entrepreneurs, but in this gig wage economy, people don't care about your resume having gaps, I feel like, anymore. I don't feel like it matters when you change jobs a lot, because if you look at my resume, every job I had contributed to every skill I need to be where I am right now. Just want to read a 3-part series from my blog, Shant-Knows-It-All, about my experience actually working in Black corporate America. Let's go. I'm the Boss by Chantel writes on Friday, September 16th, after finishing the first week of a 6-week sales training. Class diva. You're the boss, and Randy is the local sales rep. Immediately, my brain starts playing Beyonce's "A Diva is a female version of a hustler." Real quick, maybe just that line. And I chuckle on the inside and smirk on the outside. Ha ha. I had faith in God, whatever challenge was to come walking up here, so he showed me just how specially he prepared me to overcome it. He delivered this exact customer visit scenario in my last position, the one that didn't work out. All I had to do was remember to channel John. Take the lead. What did John used to say, and how did he used to say it? I truly admired him. His work ethic, authentic blackness, and kindness was unmatched. I walked up just as confidently as he would and just as well dressed. I grabbed the national account manager's hand into a warm executive shake. "Nice to meet you again," I say, immediately assuming the power in the role play. Uncooperatively, he pulls it and his hand back and starts off with an unnecessary challenge. "We've never met before," he laughs, and I hear the satisfied rumblings of ridicule rise from the audience. Today, they get to prove that all my smart-ass answers don't make me better than them. They suspect I'm no better at sales than them. The audience is unaware, however, of the numerous times I've battled role-play butterflies and white men's tests. We actually have met before, such that his move does not faze me. In fact, only the inability to describe it later will upset me. His subtlety will make me question myself. "Oh, yeah, we spoke on the phone a few times. It's nice to finally meet in person," I continue. "I'm the regional manager for insert the most recognizable brand in the world, and I'm checking in with our highest priority customers. This is your new local sales rep, Randy." Randy goes in for his handshake in perfect timing. Randy is smart enough to follow my lead and to wait for his introduction. He submits to his boss, me, like I used to. "What happened to Kate?" the manager counters again. But again, this is a scenario I've encountered before. I get excited as his slow pitch makes contact with my bat. I channel Babe Ruth and point out the home run before my tongue swings. "Kate was so good, she got promoted. We're so excited for her, and Randy is on the same path to exceed your expectations," I continue, addressing the problem. "Randy will be your go-to, and he'll be here to serve all of your needs. Before we go on to discuss anything further, what was the issue you had getting that product you mentioned earlier?" The importance here is I'm addressing his problem first, not mine. I'm so in tune with his needs, I remember not only his name, but also his pain. He says something about sugar, so I let Randy get some shine. Randy starts rattling off the features of the product like all the other amateur salespeople in the room. A real salesperson could care less about the product stats. Life stats. Not like that. I want a good product, but I concern myself only with facts that I can use to elicit an emotional response. I only care if it fits my story. My statistics professor said stats aren't facts. Stats tell a story about the data. You can make it look however you want. Here's a quick example. Compare the bar graphs below. The one on the right turns nothing into something by making the visual intervals bigger than the numeric ones. Here's a fun one. I can influence my perception of my weight progress on MyFitnessPal depending on the length of time I'm looking at. I've been using this app for 11 years. I can compare side by side how my body looks at any weight. I'm bossy. A true veteran, I ask for the sale and close him on 5 amazing products before he even realizes it, making the executive decision to ignore the product I was actually assigned. Afterwards, a classmate will critique me for skipping my product, and the national accounts manager will support my decision. I didn't need him to validate my choice, they do. I played point well and set the alley oop for my co star Randy. Slam dunk. The crowd cheers. They raise their hands to call me strong and to finally thank me for teaching them something. They may never realize that many of my questions in class are asked with an intent to share what I know and to expose what our instructors don't realize we need to know. I can't pick 5 different flavors, he says, after he's already been closed. I'm confused because we were talking about products, not the variations of one. I choose not to correct him because it's not real, and I've already shown the class how it should go. You're a busy man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I always give white men that praise, perhaps believing I'm not worth their time. I continue. Do you do the purchasing yourself? Because I don't want to bore you with the small stuff. Or do you have someone I should contact to get the final order in? He plays right into my lesson on the difference between decision maker and purchaser. He plays into my hand even better than I thought. Yeah, Linda handles all the orders on the app. Great, I say. Do you know it archives orders for 2 years? That research fact impressed the director at my interview so much that she asked if I had insider information by knowing someone at the company. I sold her on my ability to influence customers to use the app. I continue. In the near future, we'll find the time for all of us to sit down and make sure you're getting the most out of the app and to uncover insights to grow your profit. Yeah, I did that. Made the sale and preempted a quarterly review, and it was natural. Servant leadership. He asks if we can set up a table to try out the flavors first. I say, of course, Randy is always available. And the class erupts in gut wrenching laughter. I guess I'm most funny when I'm not trying because I just responded as his boss. Randy isn't insecure about the laughing. His inside is deep and his outside is Chinese. Hell, his name probably ain't even Randy. His submission to me is characteristic of Asian American culture, though uncharacteristically to a black woman. However, you can tell Randy's been immersed in black culture, so perhaps this is less of a mental reach for him. I volunteered my whole life. I give freely and completely like my mom, but not at work, not at school. Blame it on my early reading of Tom Sawyer. I'm always trying to trick the other kids into whitewashing the fence. It was my daughter who taught me to be open minded. She forced me to adjust my core beliefs to the changing present times. She flagged my arrogance, so I'm on a daily, hourly, minute to minute quest for a humble balance. After this, my thoughts go straight to approaching the national accounts manager and telling him I want to be on his team. The truth is, the first week of training is too soon to ask. Also, I'm aware of the tension I described during the role play. He knows I'm talented, but that doesn't mean he's bought into me. I can be intimidating. I can be unruly and abusive to authority because I'm a boss too. I continue. So I'll practice taking out my clothes the night before work and getting there on time. My current life's experiment is to test the need to obey in order to lead. Conclusion. Everyone has the same amount of suffering, so be your own boss. We do our own stats on our problems. At YouTube University last night, the teacher said to imagine everyone dropped off their problems in the town center, such that there was a big pile of grotesque suffering. In true comparison, next to each other's problems, you go pick yours back up. The next sales training exercise did that. A black woman instructor introduced herself and her objective to teach us to create meaningful bonds through vulnerability. Just like the TikToks, where people are asked questions and respond by holding up a finger if they've done it, like a sober game of Never Have I Ever, we stood up from our seats. Her questions inspired, humored, and made people cry. For once, the boss didn't need to show off. For once, I felt I'd achieved more than I suffered. Even better, my dreams are in action. I sat in my seat and listened, grateful for my strengths. I don't need to be the boss. I have to be. I owe it. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So, what does that make you? You're not good. You just know how to hide, how to lie. Me, I don't have that problem. I always tell the truth, even when I lie. So, say goodnight to the bad guy. Tony Montana, Scarface. I got fired. As Chantel writes, case in the Mondays, October 24th, 2022. You may want to listen to the YouTube and the footnote first. First time I ever got fired and didn't shed a tear. I felt relief after dismissal before, but there's usually a piercing twang of regret, woes of dread and abandonment. Grief is a cruel kind of education. You learn how ungentle mourning can be, how full of anger you learn how glib condolences can feel. The pain is not surprising, but its physicality is. Grief is forcing new skins on me, scraping scales from my eyes. Chimamanda Adichie. I feel nothing. I hated those people because they hated me without reason, and yet I love them for honing some humility in me. It was okay to have all different outsides, but not all different insides. Fake diversity. the pinnacle of what could go wrong. I just realized it's my Colors Nation chapter in Invisible Man, the part where all the pictures of colors on the wall means more than the true message and pain beneath it. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Had to do something, motherfucker punch you in the mouth. Eddie Murphy Raw. I got fired for calling someone a colonizer, rightfully so. He paraded those black folks like every other exec I'd seen. This fake black overseer leadership was like betrayal on infinity. The last personal development video I watched last night said that leaders keep a safe space at work so the dangers are external. If that's not the case, there is backbiting and turmoil and anxiety. Today, the woman in front of me was so scared she was fired because her headset and company apps wouldn't work. I assured her that wasn't the case, but I really wasn't sure. The first thing she told me when I walked in today was that 21 people had been fired since we started 6 weeks ago. Tomorrow, everyone will get the boilerplate email with my name in red. And as my own Southern gentleman told me, you always show them you're smart too quick. Can you blame me? Up north, that's how we survive. Down here, you don't show an unqualified business analyst you understand databases and back-end APIs, and you certainly don't pull a new sales manager aside who doesn't understand what a customer testimonial is. I was supposed to fall in line like a frat boy pledge and ignore the real power circles. I used to have access to those circles of white men, admitted by my mind. When master likes you, he ignores the mistress's complaining. When he's ambivalent, you're subject to her insecurities and abuse. I read Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity, and I tried to slow down to their frame of reference. Gary Zukav's The Dancing Woolly Masters, an overview of the new physics, spoke to my situation in this passage. In other words, to calculate how fast this passenger moves relative to us, we add his velocity to the velocity of his coordinate system, if he is walking in the same direction that it is moving. And we subtract his velocity from the velocity of his coordinate system if he is walking in the opposite direction. This calculation is called the classical Galilean transformation. Knowing that uniform relative motion of our two frames of reference, we can transform the passenger's velocity in reference to his own coordinate system into his velocity in reference to our coordinate system. So last night, I created a velocity space-time schedule. I will slow down to their frame of reference from 8 to 5. I will speak less. I commit to getting to work on time, but I refuse to put that I'm going to the bathroom in the group chat. I refuse to adopt their common phrases like keep me honest, insert teammate that could tell on me, when I wasn't sure about a policy. I'll never say you're okay when someone makes a mistake instead of it's okay. But did I in fact speed up my fate by being too aware, too in time with the metaphors that engulf me? My boss was a black lesbian named Ross, the destroyer, I had started to wonder. I knew that actually listening to Louis Armstrong's Black and Blue, that actually searching for the song on YouTube and playing it would be too powerful. My vibrations couldn't deflect another minute, another second. I could not subdue the light. The Invisible Man had 1,369 lights. Numbers, numbers, numbers. 210 is my birthday. Starts with 21. Lucky 7 times Trinity 3. 1023, my daughter's birthday. Me backwards, with luck. And that's the real reason I won't tell my daughter. Not just to save her financial worries, but because she'll tell me I'm wrong. It's the reason I just lied to my mentor to avoid him thinking I self-sabotaged. I got in trouble for my words, but my words weren't wrong. I shouldn't have to watch exploited African children commercials at work if I don't have to watch them at home anymore. I haven't seen a Feed the Children commercial with flies walking around the corners of black eyes in years. I have plenty of Indian friends, and I've worked with many engineers in software. My favorite marketing guru in the world is Neil Patel, so I mention his name and teach anyone who calls the customer care center about him that shares his last name. I tell them because it's okay to make fun of people with his last name here. It's okay to say you don't want to talk to them openly, but I'm the racist. By category, not by action. I got fired by category, not by action. The aristocracy and authority of talent are more substantial than the aristocracy of names and material power. Balzac, 1830. It seems we live in the American dream, but the people highest up got the lowest self-esteem. The prettiest people do the ugliest things. For the road to riches and diamond rings, we shine because they hate us, floss because they degrade us. We trying to buy back our 40 acres. And for that paper, look how low we stoop. Even if you in a Benz, you're still a nigga in a coupe. Those lyrics are from Kanye West, All Falls Down. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on Kanye West, look out for the blog, My Best Friends Are Jews and Lawyers. Thanks so much for listening. I woke up to my dreams, as Chantel writes, Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. Like literally, woke up to my dreams. a blog to read that I wrote last night, something to share instead of my woes and fears. People don't know how to deal with that shit, anyways. Listening to my own words read back to me, I understand Chimamanda when she says the physicality of grief, the grip that anger has on you, makes anything anyone could possibly say to you meaningless. It's like that TikTok or Reels, I don't know. You gonna buy it for me? I ain't think so with your broke ass. Spend 5 minutes complaining, and you will have wasted five, and you may have begun what's known as economic cancer of the bone. They will soon haul you off into a financial desert and there let you choke on the dust of your own regret. Jim Rohn, Diseases of Attitude. What the hell do I have to be sad about today? I don't have to pay an Uber to get somewhere I don't want to be and eat snacks and drink soda all day, then promise myself to find some energy to run when I get home and not do it because my soul was dying. I was too tired to go into work because I'd be up all night too anxious to sleep. I'm scared of telling other people, only the ones who will judge me or who depend on me. Their stake is in me working, so they will not let me get away with my joy, guilt-free. And I have found joy back here in my room alone. I have started the mental gratitude list reflecting on how perfect the timing is. In my isolation, I am overjoyed by the free time. I got up to write. Not sure if I was journaling, blogging, or making a gratitude list. I turned off the Kardashians, thinking it might be okay to watch the seriousness of the news. Why? I needed an educational backdrop to read a paper sent to me by the Democratic Party in North Carolina. It lays out, in their words, the candidates we can vote for. I'm bringing my daughter out to vote as part of her turning 18 because I'm raising a citizen, an activist. I did not know what the paper was, and it would have gone in the trash by this evening if I went to work. But instead, yesterday, I found a highlighter at work, and it's the highlighter I'm using to go through this paper. I'm shocked by some of their beliefs and scared for them to have power. I realize that I can learn much about their personalities from these short autobiographies. I'm grateful I have time to think. I'm grateful I have time to create. I'm grateful that I bought a ticket to Wade Bryant's stretch class, a major goal on my vision board. I'm grateful that I have more because I have me. Later today, I told my daughter with all assurance that I wasn't scared, so neither should she be. I told her I had already been at work and had an interview coming up. She came back slick like me. Is it going to happen again? Then I finally broke down, wondering if I'm not suited to work in society. Am I just like my mom, always fighting the good fight for a utopian workforce? If it wasn't for Dr. Kaplan's Don't Blame Mother, I would not have tried what made it all better. I called my mom. And when I needed a break, I still called her back to check in. See, I realized if it were me, I'd be worried about my daughter and need some closure. And mom somehow did make it all better, talking to my cousin too, and telling my man this morning, even though I felt so much closer to him since I started working. But I am not my job. I am me. Everyone's just going to have to love me for that. Or don't. I'd like to end this podcast with a bonus reading from no one other than my own mom. When I wrote I'm the Boss, only when I was done did I realize my mom had an award-winning poem called Who's the Boss? January 23rd, from mitzysky.com, MITZYSKY. Who's the boss? You got to teach people how to treat you. Not the easiest thing to do. People usually have difficulty with me when I teach them how to treat me. I show them that I'm the boss over what I do. They fuss and fight because they look back to the days when I didn't know myself, the days that were great for them, when my talents and gifts were used up, left me feeling screwed up with no credit or profit. People who use titled roles for their worth have trouble with me being the boss of myself. I am the boss, they say to themselves. I say you have a title and a role. They are things you are required to do and lead. Why does that make you full of yourself? Don't you know yourself? Everyone deserves dignity and respect. A title shouldn't be the only thing to get that. Who is the boss? Your great old days aren't so great anymore. Your privilege to take and not earn has got you living in terror. You cry your tears or you say out loud your titles every time you get a chance. You feel insignificant without one. All your pain and sorrows are right in front of you always, and you are looking for someone to blame. Half the time, you don't know the task that the team is completing. You hang on to every word that someone with knowledge is speaking. You take it to the people with the titles, and they say that you are smart. You smile and feel satisfied, but inside you are enraged because you don't quite know yourself. You feel fake. You need someone to blame. You turn to look at someone else as less and you say to them, I'm the boss. You feel lost. You have a title, you have a role, you have some tasks to do, some people to go, some people to see. Respect is earned. You are not the boss of me. I lead my destiny. I see what needs to get done and I get it done. It is my responsibility to know my purpose and still do work. My worth is not tied up in task of making money in the land of milk and honey that wants my head bowed low and my back bent, giving some a false sense of security and superiority. I chop the wood and I carry the water, and it is just what it is. Getting this work done, transmute the pain and gain awareness. A word from Ram Dass, we're all just walking each other home. It doesn't matter if you're living in a castle, under a bridge, in a cave, in a mansion, or an estate, or in the hood. Connection within, you are still good. Support without judgment is necessary. I shouldn't have to stand next to you for my worth. I deserve dignity from my birth. When it's manipulated and stolen, it won't be given back. You have to take it. Forgiveness with empathy, kindness, and compassion will get that done. Who's the boss? You know how to lead with equity, dignity, empathy, and compassion. You have the skills to know what the whole team is working on. You see the goals and you do your part and you delegate to others. You take the time to take care of yourself. Your cup is full and running over, and your passion, kindness, and wisdom shine through. You know your worth, and in that awareness, you know that everyone else is worthy. You value the people, and your moral compass uplifts their spirits. They complete their task, and the whole team shines. You know when to promote because someone else's success doesn't make you less. You're the boss. Who's the boss? Listen, the next time you step to me, know this. I will still give you all the knowledge you need from me. It may elevate you still to the positions you desire. Know this, it doesn't make me inferior what your thoughts are about me. You thinking that you are clever and using me. You still need wisdom and compassion to be free. Until you rectify what you have done, your suffering will continue to be. Know this for sure when you step to me. I am not your Negro or your mental patient. I will not be shrinking to fit today. You make this look easy. Writing flowing out of me, vomiting up the disgust you try to spew on me with your words of disease because you try not to see me. You want to be the boss. What does being a boss mean to you? I no longer think you know everything. I see through your tricks of taking what you want and leaving debris behind. When I asked for what I needed to do the job, you said I changed, casting the blame of your insecurities on me. My God, I used to beg you to see me, asking, why can't you see me? But now I know I need to see myself. Lately, I've been feeling myself. But I see you pimping, setting up roadblocks with privilege, ignorance, money, policies, procedure, and policing to keep your foot on my neck. You owning your title and keeping it as your worth, that is your right. You taking it to mean disrespect and inferior treatment. You are showing people the misconceptions of feeling insignificant, the need for someone to be less, for another to feel great. That is fake. You cause moral injury, but it doesn't matter to you to see someone else hurting for you. It's a win. I couldn't pen this thing if I didn't know its origin. Been there, I've done it. This is all judgments. I see me, I see you. Why I'm making all these comments, I'm still a giver. It's apparent. You keep coming to me to take when you are in a drought. Nothing new to share from your own thoughts to give you clout. To the people who you count, we all want the same thing to be seen and heard. When status and titles are for your worth, it doesn't matter your gender, ethnicity, or color. You will always choose the status quo, validated by the majority, and money flows. But what is it to gain the whole world at the cost of your soul? The money isn't real. What a thing to say. Shout out to the people who take a second look. You are the change makers. You stand tall, heads high, and face all the naysayers. Who this woman standing here now before you? I done unlearned the bullshit. Here I am. I got a glimpse, and my perspective done shift. I've been beautifully created, perfectly imperfect, knowing where my strength lies. I see your fear. You're afraid to be found out, caught out. But let that go. You only know what you know. Set yourself free from pretending. No, you can't have my creativity. You have your own. No, I don't have no money. That's never what you wanted. It's that freedom in my spirit, the rise in my back, that confidence in my walk, that smile in my eye, that wisdom behind the veil. So you use that shame that kept it there. How are you, a boss? Do you care about me or just about you? Did you really go there? Asking me to use language influenced by the DSM to move backward for profit to big up yourself? You use it. And so you want me to use it too. Don't you see, because of the color of your skin or economic background you are seen, you get sympathy and you think you could win. I tried that and it almost did me in. Labels and drugs left a poor girl dreaming, left to die slowly in poverty with no expectation from my beginning to end. Here's a little gift from me to you that took me decades to learn. 22 said learn it now or continue with your dreams deferred. Focusing on all the negativity blocks the creativity. It's like playing football and I'm always on defense, not getting to play the offense to move forward. A word from Call Me Ace from his song Mercury. Less will be mine when you choose love over fear. I will not receive any accolades from the ones who promote mental illness, healing, and recovery. I'm sticking to what I know for sure. Life happens and sometimes it is suffering. A word from Viktor Frankl. It's my job to find meaning in the suffering. I heard DMX roar this sentiment. I glimpsed the truth and kept on letting the lessons unfold, allowing me to gain wisdom that's worth more than silver or gold. A word from James Baldwin. Perhaps the turning point in one's life is realizing that to be treated like a victim is not necessarily to become one. This one here, just in case, one more time. I am not your Negro or mental patient. I will not be shrinking to fit today. Who's the boss? What does a boss mean? I get to know myself, captain of my ship, observer of my thoughts. I decide my actions. I make my choice. Next time you step to me, remember, you're no boss of me. Mama being calling. Now I'm walking in my destiny. That's the end. Now, all my blogs don't get featured in podcasts, but I do audios. So if you want to listen or read, go to Shant, Shant, knowsitall.com. Thanks again.